In his first State of the Union, the president lays out his international vision.
As we rebuild America's strength and confidence at home, we are also restoring our strength and standing abroad.
In line with his coined America First agenda, President Trump looked to keep his promise to Americans by holding countries overseas accountable.
From now on, we expect trading relationships to be fair and, very importantly, reciprocal.
Shortly after, President Trump signs an order imposing tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from foreign countries.
Today, I'm defending America's national security by placing tariffs on foreign imports of steel and aluminum.
The tariffs were an early sign of his effort to make good on promises.
And we will protect American workers and American intellectual property through strong enforcement of our trade rules.
In May, President Trump strikes a deal with his Chinese counterpart, essentially saving telecommunications company ZTE after punishing the company for violating U.S. sanctions.
America has also finally turned the page on decades of unfair trade deals that sacrificed our prosperity and shipped away our companies, our jobs, and our wealth.
And in June, the Trump administration, emboldened by a strong U.S. economy, announces 25% tariffs on up to $50 billion in Chinese goods, kicking off the trade war with China.
We're doing things for this country that should have been done for many, many years.
In September, after seeing China fall victim to U.S. sanctions, President Trump escalates the trade war, imposing tariffs on $200 billion worth of goods.
We'll be discussing trade, and I think at some point we are going to end up doing something which is great for China and great for the United States.
But tensions begin to settle in December after the U.S. and China agree to a 90-day truce as the two countries work out the differences.
Many car companies are now building and expanding plants in the United States, something we haven't seen for decades.
But China wasn't the only country to be attacked for unfair trade deals.
With our signatures today, we will formally declare the intention of our three countries to replace NAFTA.
After months of back-and-forth negotiations, Canada finally joins Mexico and the U.S. in signing the USMCA in November, a trade deal championed by President Trump. Where bad actors were punished, good actors were rewarded.
Last month, I also took an action endorsed unanimously by the U.S. Senate just months before. I recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
In May, the Trump administration officially opens the new U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem, a historic move applauded by Israelis, but met with mass protest from Palestinians. But the support for Israel didn't end in the Middle East. In June, UN Ambassador Nikki Haley announces the U.S. will withdraw from the United Nations Human Rights Council in protest of what she called entrenched bias against Israel.
For too long, the Human Rights Council has been a protector of human rights abusers and a cesspool of political bias.
At the beginning of the year, all eyes were on the Korean Peninsula.
North Korea's reckless pursuit of nuclear missiles could very soon threaten our homeland. We are waging a campaign of maximum pressure to prevent that from ever happening.
But in an unprecedented move, the American president meets face-to-face with the leader of North Korea, signing an agreement to build towards peace.
We had a really fantastic meeting. A lot of progress, really very positive. I think better than anybody could have expected.
But the Singapore summit wasn't the only high-profile meeting of the year. President Trump also met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, prompting criticisms from his opponents back at home. This year, tensions were high at times with allies, and not only with Russia. In October, Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi goes missing at the Saudi Arabian embassy in Istanbul, kicking off a wave of international repercussions. The president was tough on America's allies, both old and new, but even tougher on its enemies.
As we strengthen friendships all around the world, we are also restoring clarity about our adversaries.
In April, the United States launches dozens of cruise missiles into Syria in response to an alleged chemical weapons attack on a civilian population.
Right now, we're not finding any evidence of an attack. Like I said before, that doesn't mean there wasn't one.
But the president's influence in the Middle East didn't always require military action.
My fellow Americans, today I want to update the world on our efforts to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon.
In May, President Trump announces he will be pulling out of the Obama-era Iran nuclear deal, saying the Islamic Republic was not living up to its end of the agreement.
Last year, I also pledged that we would work with our allies to extinguish ISIS from the face of the earth.
In 2018, ISIS claimed responsibility for 25 attacks, killing 879 people around the world. But they were on the run throughout most of the year, being cleared from the Syrian cities of Idlib, Raqqa, and Aleppo. By the end of the year, President Trump says the terrorist group has been eradicated from the region, pledging to pull U.S. troops out of Syria. And the very same day, reports announced the president, tired of the 17-year presence of U.S. troops in Afghanistan, has ordered the Pentagon to begin bringing them home. With his next State of the Union less than a month away, and a president who makes keeping promises a priority, we'll likely soon get a preview of what 2019 has in store. Alex Salvi, One America News.
See more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.